Welcome back, trainers. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Ursaring in the Ultra League to see how it does perform here. I'm going to be pairing it up with Venusaur and Poliwrath here. So for my Ursaring, I am going to be running Shadow Claw, as well as Play Rough and then Close Combat. Close Combat will be lowering our defense, so we need to be mindful as to when we use that. So the whole reason behind using this here was to have Close Combat for Registeel, and then the Shadow Claw as well as being normal type to go up against the Giratinas, because we will be resisting Ghost quite a bit while dealing super effective damage with Shadow Claw. Now you can also run Ursaring with Counter. That would be great too. And then Play Rough on the side so you can hit the Giratinas with super effective while resisting the potential quick Ghost move. If you go up against the Origin, you're going to be looking great. You don't really have to worry about any sort of charge move because they're all going to be resisted. But the Altered, on the other hand, is going to be able to still hurt you, with the Dragon Claw as well as the Ancient Power. So taking a look at the counters, it's going to be good going up against the Giratinas, Swampert, and then Melmetal, as well as a few others here. It is going to be winning about 50% throughout the whole lineup of Pokemon here, so not the best. So we have to make do with this. So let's go ahead and take a look at these battles. So I am going up against a Giratina with my Venusaur here, and in the Ultra League it is a bit tanky. We are going down there. At least we're able to get off one more there. So we're going to definitely want to be going in here with the Ursaring. So let's see exactly what this big bear can do. So it's a pretty interesting Pokemon, as well as the shiny has been released a few days ago. So if you do have one of those, very awesome. So we do take a decent amount of damage. I think they give up at this point because once their other Pokemon comes in, they kind of attack a couple of times and then just stop. So they are shieldless. We would have been able to win that. And then we have the Poliwrath in the back, which is going to be able to Dynamic Punch this Empoleon here and do massive damage. And then the Ursaring is pretty healthy in the back. So we take that win there, and then they back out. Okay. So they were probably potentially trying to do that before. It wasn't letting them. They just decided to keep attacking. So I have mixed feelings for Ursaring. I'm not going to say it's horrible. It's definitely really good. But you're going to have to get used to it first, all right? It does charge up fairly fast with Shadow Claw for Play Rough as well as Close Combat. So for this next match, we're met up with a Giratina here. And with our Poliwrath, if the Giratina does have Shadow Claw, it is going to be a pretty even matchup. If it did have Dragon Breath, it is going to be digging in quite significantly. It's going to take a little bit longer to get to their charge moves, but the Dragon Breath is just going to eat away at the Poliwrath's health. Pretty much anything, right? Unless you're massively resisting it. So as you can see, we are winning as far as health goes, but they're able to get to a charge, which is going to bring us significantly lower than them. So I do decide to use a shield at this point. And they did actually hoard up a bunch of energy, and they're able to hit 2 back-to-back here. So not necessarily a waste of a shield. We're able to get to another Ice Punch. So let's see if they're going to be drawing a shield here or letting it go down. And they use a shield. So at this point, I decide to switch into my Ursaring. Probably not the best idea, because now they have switch priority. They can switch as soon as they're done doing this charge to a potential Poliwrath, and that's not going to be good. But we do have Play Rough. Hey, there it is, a Poliwrath. I don't even remember this battle. I just kind of randomly called that. So Play Rough is going to do a lot of damage. Let's see if we're able to get this through, and it does. And not necessarily one-shotting it, but taking it very low. Now we do need to look out for, obviously, Dynamic Punch, which is going to obviously take us out, and there you go. But that's okay. The reason why we have Venusaur here is so we kind of, run into this situation. We're going to be able to farm down here. And now we have a decent amount of energy, as well as one shield and a Poliwrath in the back. It doesn't have the most health, but it has a bit of energy, I do believe. So they're going to be going in here with Registeel. Now, obviously, as soon as I switch into my Poliwrath, they're going to potentially go back into their Giratina, right? So I decide to just continue on here. And I think I make a very crucial mistake. Let's go ahead and see exactly what happens and what I do here. So we're looking good. We're chipping away. Now, like we've discussed before, Venusaur going up against Registeel, if you do have one shield, you can do a good amount of damage. I do decide to let that go through because I know we're going to be able to get to a potential another Frenzy Plant here like this. But I know they're going to be able to get to another Flash Cannon before I'm able to get to another Frenzy Plant. So what I do here is decide to shield up. They do have a Giratina in the back. We need to be mindful of everything that's happening here. So basically, if I would have just continued on here, burn the shield, let's see what happens. So we're not going to be able to get to another Frenzy Plant at this point. But they're going to either have to use their energy to take us out. So what I should have done is continued on with Venusaur and not make the switch into Poliwrath. They're going to be letting this go down. They have no more shields. They're bringing in their Giratina. We were so close to that Ice Punch, and that was a crucial mistake switching out that Venusaur. I should have just continued on, hit it with the Frenzy Plant, went in there, farmed down, had enough energy for an Ice Punch to take out the Giratina, and that would have been a win for me. But you live and you learn, you make mistakes, and hopefully you learn from watching these videos as well. Moving it on to the next match, I'm going to be starting it off for the majority. I think most of these battles, I'm going to start it off with Poliwrath. I may switch up into the Ursaring a couple times here. So we're met with another Giratina. Man, and this is where I was starting to contemplate, should I just lead with Ursaring? But the second I lead with Ursaring, guess what? I'm going to meet a bunch of Poliwrath leads because, you know, that's just the way it goes. So this is a Dragon Breath. So as you can see here, it is doing a lot of damage, right? So I think what I do here is build up to this Ice Punch. And after this, we're going to be switching immediately into our Ursaring so we can gain as much energy as possible and potentially hit something with a hard-hitting move here. As you can see, 2 shields are up. And of course, they have a Hariyama in the back. I never run into those. The only time I do is when I'm using my Ursaring, of course, right? You know, so they're shielding that up. That was just a visual glitch. And they're going to be able to take us out with counters because that is going to be super effective. We're very close to another play rough. That would have hurt the Hariyama, although Hariyama is pretty tanky. So we're going to be going in here with Venusaur, resisting the counters. Predicting possibly Heavy Slam, because that's going to be good coverage there. And that's what they hit us with. They don't really want to go with Dynamic Punch because we're going to be resisting that. While Heavy Slam is going to be doing neutral damage, and as you can see, took off almost half health. So we are deciding to shield this up here. Going to farm a little bit extra, and then go ahead and go for that Frenzy Plant. And try to salvage this battle here and see what happens. So that's going to be taking them out. So we have a good amount of energy, below half health. They're going back in here with Giratina. Now we're going to be able to chip away, so let's see how this works out. Venusaur is amazing. Frenzy Plant is very cheap. So we were able to get that through. They did not use their shield. I was trying to potentially switch here. We are shielding our Venusaur up, and they're making an immediate switch into Clefable, and we're shieldless. And I back out because that's a game over. Good game there. Alright, so I need to stop switching when I feel like I should, but just potentially continue on, let them faint our Pokemon down, and then pick what I want there. Therefore, I can maintain a possible switch if I needed to when they do counter me. So we did have a good lead, and they did switch into Poliwrath, in which we're going to be going into Venusaur. Ice Punches do hurt, but Frenzy Plant's going to hurt more. They're going to be able to spam the Ice Punch a little bit quicker, so in this scenario, if I want to come out on top, I'm going to potentially have to burn both shields here. So we're going to be shielding that one. That's going to be our first shield. We did take that first Ice Punch. We're able to almost get to another Frenzy Plant. They've burnt this shield at this point. So I think I commit to another shield. At this point, we can take another Ice Punch, right? Even with the quick move damage, we should be able to still survive. What I was potentially thinking was they're going to maybe switch. So what I decided to do is just go in here with Poliwrath since all shields are down. And take them by surprise really quick. Take out that Poliwrath that has energy. This is a shieldless game, so we still have all 3 of our Pokemon there. Bringing in a Togekiss. So long we can get off a couple of these Ice Punches, then we're going to be looking okay. Go in here with Venusaur and potentially finish them off with Frenzy Plant. Or go in here with Ursaring and farm down. Depending upon how much this does, let's see how much health they do have left on that Togekiss. We're hanging on by a sliver, crazy. So it looks like we can go in here and farm down. Although we're expecting a potential charge move coming out of that Togekiss fairly soon. Ursaring is not the tankiest, and they're making an immediate switch into their Registeel. This is an okay situation, and this is a good showcase. Let's see how much close combat does to Registeel. Alright, not bad, it's not the best. So we are making a switch into our Venusaur to absorb this. Charge move here. Hopefully we're going to be able to survive. Not surviving there. And going back in with the Ursaring. If they hit us with a Focus Blast, it's game over. But that was a little quick. So let's see if this is Flash Cannon. We will be able to survive. It is Flash Cannon. So I know they expended their energy. So I'm going to gain a little bit more energy than needed. And go ahead and go for that Play Rough. And hopefully we're going to be able to get to another one. But if I do remember this correctly, I needed to do a couple more Shadow Claws before I was able to have another charge move. Their Togekiss is loaded, so unfortunately they're going to be taking the battle here. This is what happens when you test out new Pokemon and try out new things, and it's just the way it goes. But I'm going to totally accept this because it's still fun for me to do. So we're met with another Registeel in the beginning, so this is going to be good for us, right? Expecting a switch here. Let's see what they go with. It's going to be Mewtwo. Kind of threw me off for a second, so I was like, all right, definitely Ursaring here because Venusaur does not want to see that confusion. Although the armor Mewtwo is not going to be the, have the highest attack around, but it's still going to hurt, and they are rocking Psy Strike, of course. So we're going to be going for Play Rough because close combat not very effective, as well as lowering our defense, so this is going to be within our best interest. Chipping away at this Mewtwo here. And we're able to get to a close combat. I decided to just go for it because they're either going to have to burn a shield, and the Ursaring did its job. So they do decide to shield, and we're able to finish them off with quick moves. Absolutely amazing here. So potentially we could have just farmed them down, but hey, at least we got a shield out of them. Going to be going for close combat again because we're not going to be able to get to a Play Rough, I don't think. Well, yes, we could have totally, but I was expecting them to use a shield, so that worked out. Now we have our Venusaur, and we have one shield, so we're looking pretty good. We know that there's going to be a Registeel in the back, so if they do decide to switch at this point, we're just going to immediately counter them with our Poliwrath, right? So we will be shielding that up, and there goes the switch. We're going to be going into our Poliwrath immediately, and it does have a ton of energy ready to go, so we're going to be going for that Dynamic Punch. A Great, come on now, man. What are you doing hitting Greats on the fighting animation? So they're going to be able to get to a Focus Blast. This is not going to KO us. It's going to be bringing us very low, but still very comfortable. As you can see here, Poliwrath is just a beast. Gaining a little bit more energy, knowing that they did expend their energy at this point, we can kind of build up for a little bit more. Going for that Dynamic Punch, taking them out, and we're going to be going immediately for the Dynamic Punch here. And yeah, doing a good amount of damage because the Poliwrath, I mean, it's just neutral there. They're building up for energy. We have a Venusaur in the back, so we're looking absolutely fantastic. That's going to be an Ice Punch. I make an immediate switch into Venusaur here to absorb the potential Dynamic Punch or Ice Punch they were about to throw. It's going to be an Ice Punch, which is fine. We are at full health, and we could have farmed down at this point, but I just hit the Frenzy Plant, and we don't even need to tap on any of those. And we're able to take the win here. All right, moving it on to the next battle. As you can see, there's kind of a pattern. It's like win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. So we're met with another Poliwrath here. So this is going to be the whole, are they going to use Dynamic Punch? Should I shield situation? Should I go for Ice Punch and pretend I'm going for Dynamic Punch and make him waste the shield situation? So I think I let this go. It is an Ice Punch, so good call there. All right, and we're just going to go for Dynamic Punch. We could go for a bait as well. And they do decide to use a shield, so kind of wasted energy there, but that's fine. We're able to get to another Dynamic Punch. Let's see if they're going to commit to two shields back to back here. And they let it go through, okay. So at this point, I'm expecting a Dynamic Punch. So we're just going to let it, or shield it. It's an Ice Punch. Oh, wow, horrible call. Oh, man. All right, so now we wasted a shield, and they have a bunch of energy. This is going to potentially be a Dynamic Punch. There it goes, doing good damage. And they're making a very nice switch into potentially something to absorb this Dynamic Punch. I shouldn't have been so quick to tap on that, and it's going to be Clefable. Ouch. So we're going to be going in here with Venusaur. This is going to be able to counter the Clefable pretty well here, as well as spamming the Frenzy Plants. If we go for a Sludge Bomb, that will definitely KO it. But let's see if we can draw a shield, and we do. Perfect. So good thing we didn't go for that Sludge Bomb there. Venusaur, absolutely amazing. Really good pick for all the leagues. Well, for Great and for Ultra at least. And we're able to get to another one. So they did expend their energy. We shielded up. We were able to gain a little bit more energy, knowing that they're not going to go for another charge. Kind of a bit pressured to use my charge because Charm, although resisted by Venusaur, is still doing a lot of damage, and I don't want it to get too low because we are shieldless. They're bringing in a Shiftry. Good thing we gained energy because now we're going to be able to go for the super effective Sludge Bomb onto that somewhat glassy, well, very glassy Pokemon, and it is going to basically one-shot it. A couple more quick moves does bring it down. Venusaur is putting in work here. And we have a Poliwrath in the back. Can we get to a Frenzy Plant? Wow, Venusaur just sweeped. I love this thing. Absolutely amazing. And we're able to take the win there. So Ursaring is doing a bit of work. It's not doing the most around. But this is a new Pokemon. Once I get comfortable with it, if I decide to use it again, we'll see what happens. And for my next video, you guys are going to love it. It is going to be a nice one here. Something I don't see too many people using. So it's going to be very interesting. So make sure you have notifications on and get ready for that one. I will be uploading it later today for sure. So we have a Swampert here. Alright, so they did use a shield. Now what are they going to do? Earthquake or Hydro Cannon? Are we going to shield or not? We decided to let it go through, and it is an Earthquake, so not great. They're making a switch, and now, yet again, I've been doing this all day. A little hasty, hitting those charge moves, and they are making nice switches to absorb those moves there. Unfortunately, that was wasted energy. Making a switch into Venusaur. I think I'd go ahead and go for Frenzy Plant to try to get the shield out, because every time I go for Sludge Bomb, it seems like they shield up. We did build up to a Sludge Bomb, but they decided to let it go through, of course. Now, I could have potentially hit that Frenzy Plant to potentially get a shield out of them, or just take them out before they were able to do that, and we could have saved a shield. But since they did expend their energy, I am going to gain quite a bit more energy, and then go ahead and go for the Frenzy Plant, knowing that they're not going to be hitting us with a charge, and we can somewhat tank those charms to some degree. Now we have a bunch of energy, but a Lowland Muck, not great. Although Frenzy Plant hits everything hard, so even though they resist it, it's still going to hurt. As you can see, not the most damage around, but, you know, better than nothing. We switch into Poliwrath, very questionable, and we're going to be going for Dynamic Punch as they switch into their Swampert there. Holding on to the Poliwrath with just a sliver, that's not great because they were able to farm us, and Swampert does not need much. It just needs a sliver of health on that opposing Pokemon to farm, and it is going to be loaded and ready to go for whatever you do bring in. So we're going in here with the Venusaur. I shield this up, kind of a bad move because they're going to have another one ready to go. I was lucky to even get off this Frenzy Plant here. And the Swampert goes down. We have no shields. They have the Muck in the back. Can Ursaring pull this off, folks? Can Ursaring take the win for us? Because that's what we have lying in wait. Shieldless, unfortunately. Shadow Claw, not very effective. Now at this point we're in a bad position. Yes, I could have went for close combat, but it would have lowered my defense, and then we would have just fell even faster. So I either need to build up to 2 close combats or just feint it down with quick moves, and that's not going to happen because, well, Shadow Claw is not very effective. Potentially with counter though, we could have done that. So that's why I didn't go for a charge. They pretty much had that one in the bag there, unfortunately. So good games. Moving it on to the next battle, still going with the lead of Poliwrath, and we're met with a Swampert. So, we've seen this before, and I've expressed myself. This is not, this is good for us to some degree, but we have to make sure to call the correct shield. So, shielding the Earthquake, good call there. Building a little bit more energy, just going to go for that Dynamic Punch. Let's see if they decide to use a shield, expecting it, since we did. And there it is. And we're just going to go for another Dynamic Punch, not even baiting around right now. And they let it go through. Now, if we get hit by an Earthquake, we will be able to survive, but not by much, and then just going to be able to hit us with a Hydro Cannon and take us out. So I do decide to shield again, which it was another Earthquake, so we're shieldless. Now we need to go ahead and go for a bait. We need to pull out that last shield on them. And they decide to use it, so this is gray here. Hydro Cannon's not going to take us out. They can't get to another Earthquake that quick. So we potentially may be able to take this out, and we do. We're both shieldless at this point, and our Poliwrath has a ton of health though. Up against a Melmetal, ooh yeah, this is really good. Alright, so I don't think we're going to switch. This is just a situation where I'm just going to keep trucking on here. Let the Poliwrath go down. Feint down that Melmetal with whatever I use. I think I may go with Venusaur, because I was fearing a potential Giratina in the back, and we want our Ursaring for that. Or I wouldn't think somebody's going to run a Melmetal and a Registeel, but you never know. If we do have that Ursaring, at least we're going to be able to hit it with close combat. So getting hit by a Flash Cannon, deciding to farm down all the way since we're shieldless. It's going to be a Shiftry. I was so close to hitting Frenzy Plant, good thing I didn't, but I have a ton of energy. I can basically hit back to back, but we need to look out because Shiftry is spammy. We have enough to just go for a Frenzy Plant, and we're able to, yet again, not tap on the charge move and take the win with the Venusaur. So looking great here. So Ursaring up to this point seems to have some good usability. It's not completely useless, but it is a bit, you know, risky to run, right? You have to get used to a lot of these Pokemon when you first start using them, so that's what we're going to be doing here. Just, you know, I didn't do the whole 25 battles with the Ursaring because I did record the other Pokemon that we're going to be taking a look at later. But I'm going to be honest with you, I felt a little bit more comfortable using the next Pokemon for the next upload that we'll be looking at. So we did make a switch into the Venusaur up against the Clefable here. We're going to be shielding this up because we do not want to get hit by a potential Psychic. Now at this point we can farm down. I love the situation here. They do have 2 shields, so we need to look out for that still. They're going in here with a Charizard. We're going immediately with the Sludge Bomb. Let's see if they decide to let this go through. Alright, and we should be able to get to another Sludge Bomb. There it goes. Let's see if they decide to use a shield now. And no shield. We take them out. What do they have? That's that Lapras in the back that they're deciding to save their shields for. So we're looking good. We have 2 fighting type moves. We have the Poliwrath with Dynamic Punch, and we have the Ursaring with Close Combat. So I did throw the Ursaring in here to just absorb some sort of energy first and kind of bring the Lapras down a little bit lower. Although the Poliwrath would have been able to handle this, they still have 2 shields, so I went in there with the Ursaring just to, you know, for safe measure. And we still have 1 shield. Switching into the Poliwrath immediately, going for that Dynamic Punch, expecting a shield at this point, but you never know. They may think we're just going for an Ice Punch bait, but seeing that they're so low with 2 shields, you're probably going to want to shield up whatever comes at you. So they're hitting us up with Surf. There's nothing they can do. It's either Surf or Ice Beam. So they're going to be better off just going with the Surf, to be honest. So we're going to be going immediately for another Dynamic Punch. We don't need to. And they let it go through, just probably realizing that the battle was over there and not dragging it on even longer than it needed to be. So good game there. Moving it on to our next opponent. And we're met with an Articuno here. This is a good situation for us. So what I tend to do a lot of times is go for the Ice Punch first. And then, like I explained in my last video, then go for the Dynamic Punches. After they did lower our attack with this obviously expected Icy Wind here, which is going to be able to be spammy to some degree. I wouldn't call it a cheat move, but it's very, very good. Let's just say that. So Dynamic Punch still hurting quite a bit, but our attack is going to be lowered every single time that I use that, so we're not going to be looking too great. So even if we do come out on top of this without using shields here, whatever they do bring in is going to be able to take our moves very well because of our lowered attack, even if it's super effective. So finishing this off with an Ice Punch here. Let's see if they want to use a shield or let the Articuno go down. They let it go down. Giratina does come out, and yeah, we can go for Ice Punch. It usually does a good amount of damage, but since our attack has been lowered twice at this point, it's not really doing much at all. So what they're going to be able to do is farm us down with Dragon Breath. Now this is not great. We're going to be going in here with the good old Ursaring though. A little bit of lag there. Let's see how well it can take these charge moves. I do let it go through, saving my shields for a later time. They're making a switch into Swampert, and I'm going to be going immediately into my Venusaur here. So this is a good situation, right? Let's see how this plays out, though. So they're going for Earthquake, expecting that. That's fine. We could have used a shield, but yeah. Going to save those for Ursaring. But what I realized is my Ursaring, you know, didn't have the most health around, and Dragon Breath is going to take us down quickly. So I decided to shield this up and go ahead and farm down. And then whenever they do bring this in, I'm just going to go for Frenzy Plan. Just do as much chip damage as possible. Can I switch now? Not yet. Still locked in here. Looking pretty good, doesn't it? Alright, so how low is the Ursaring? It's pretty low. Let's see if we're going to be able to take this with Shadow Claws. And get to the play rough. Now at this point I think I should have... I was thinking I might be able to get to 2 play roughs because I still have a shield, and I had the close combat which would have taken them out. Did you see that? But I failed to hit it. I was trying to vigorously tap on play rough like an idiot. So, alright. Lose that match that we could have won. So this one is starting a little late. Sorry about that. What they had in the beginning was an Aggron, and I had my Poliwrath. They made a switch into their shiny Gyarados, and I make a switch into my shiny Venusaur. So they are running an all-shiny team. Very nice. And then our Venusaur is able to farm down here. They're going to be bringing in their Giratina, which is the final shiny on their team. And we're just going to use our energy here, because I do believe we're still locked. That's right. And we're going to be able to almost get to another Frenzy Plant. We're definitely not going to use a shield. Let it go down, because we're going to be able to go back in with the Venusaur, or the Ursaring. I think that's what we do. We may go Poliwrath. Okay, yeah, there we go. So getting ready for that switch. And they're just charging up here. We're going to let this go through. We still have 2 shields, looking great. And there's an Aggron back there. And they made a great switch. I was going for Play Rough, and this is not very effective. So we're going to be able to switch into our Poliwrath and just demolish this Aggron here, being a Steel and Rock type. And they let it go down, knowing that this is just a lost cause. They might as well just save the shields for the Giratina. They still have 2 shields. So let's see how this works out. Hitting us with an Ancient Power, trying to get that boost. And we're going to be going for this Ice Punch here. Obviously, they're going to be shielding up anything we throw at them, being an Ice Punch. And such low health with 2 shields left, you think they're going to start to shield up at this point. And we're shielding this up because I know our Ursaring can handle it, but let's just take it out with the Poliwrath here. So we're going to have to get through that shield. And this is looking great. So anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. And I will be keeping you up to date on everything Pokemon Go, as well as Go Battle League battles. Thank you for watching, trainers, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.